Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Dr. Phyllis. Today I'll be covering a groundbreaking story that could change the thoughts about the definition of life and humanity forever. I have here with me Peter Hobson, to the so-called simulacra, Control and Ambrotos, and Mr. Ray Kurzweil. My guest today will be answering several questions regarding Dr. Peter Hobson's recent discovery of what he believes to be the scientific proof of the soul. I would like to thank you in advance for joining me. Mr. Hobson, before we begin our discussion, could you please, in your own words, explain what the soul wave is and how you discovered it?
Yes, and thank you, Dr. Phyllis, for having me and some of my simulacra here today. I began observing patients near death on a special machine I made called an EEG machine. I noticed the difference between when the doctor said that someone was dead and when this little beam of electricity would travel across the EEG machine. At the point the beam of electricity left the screen, it also seemed to leave the body. After several other observations, I noticed this happened with each patient, and I soon discovered this electricity leaving the body was in fact the soul. So contrary to what some people believe, I do have scientific proof to back up my discovery. However, the more important discovery is what may result from my observations and findings.
Well, if my research with other humans, especially the boy on the surgical table, isn't enough, then we can take you into an emergency room right now. We will be sure to see the electrical current leaving the body moments after the doctors declare him dead.
Thank you for your explanation, Dr. Hobson, and I can already see how fascinating and opinionated your simulacra are. So how then would you personally describe the soul wave, and how does the soul wave equate to being a human being?
The soul wave is the way that we determine when a person is actually dead. I went through a very tragic incident while working as a graduate student in biomedical engineering that helped me to lead to this discovery. I was taking care of a boy, and when the boy gasped and came back to life, everyone seemed like it was no big deal, and I was shocked by it. I thought to myself, what if he isn't truly dead? This incident made me dig even deeper to see if I could determine when a person was truly dead. I did some possibly controversial testing on animals, and then I performed more testing on dying people. I noticed that even though the monitors stopped registering that they were alive, they still had a little electrical light inside of them that left shortly after the registering of life stopped. This is what I call the soul wave. Now, do I think it equates to being human in itself? No, I do not. But I think that as long as the person still has a soul wave, this person is still definitely alive.
Thank you, Mr. Hobson. You have brought with you two of your simulacra today, Control and Ambrotos. You described these simulacra as copies of your mind put into a computer and made a simple human, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Since these simulacra are meant to be human, I'd like to get their take on the soul wave and if they believe that it equates to being human.
The three of us really want the world to know that we exist and that we have opinions too. Some may be similar to Peter's, but also we have more time to access information from the internet. For me, the soul wave is that last bit of life that is left in a human being. And when I saw that boy on the surgical table, I knew I was onto something. And in fact, I did see it because Peter saw it, and I am just part of Peter. Of course, though, it is not the full human being. It does not just stand up and walk out of the dead person, but it does in fact have every true characteristic of that person. Just like me, I'm the truest form of Peter Hobbs there is. So if you really want to get to know the real Peter Hobbs, the unfiltered Hobbs, I'm your man.
Thank you. Also here today with us is Mr. Ray Kurzweil, an American author, scientist, inventor, futurist, and is Director of Engineering at Google. Mr. Kurzweil, with your scientific background and expertise, we would love to hear your thoughts about this discovery of the soul wave and if you agree or disagree with Dr. Hobson.
As far as I am concerned, Peter Hobson's science is as sound as anything else we take as fact. Peter Hobson's methods are proven and hold up to any measure of scientific fact, but what this discovery means will vary from person to person. As scientists, we can only say for certain that the soul wave is an electrical field inside the brain, and it exits the brain at the point of death. But what happens after death is just speculation. For now, it cannot be proven by science. I would describe the soul wave as exactly what it is, a specific electrical signal which can be detected by medical machines and that enters the body during gestation and exits the body at the point of death. However, I do not believe that the soul wave equates to being human, because chimpanzees have been found to have them and we do not consider them to be human. Also, with more testing, we may find other animals to have soul waves, but humans do not consider other animals to be, well, human. There is much more that makes something human than just one identifiable characteristic.
Thank you for that expert insight, Mr. Carswell. Dr. Hobson, since you described the soul wave as a person's soul and you believe that you have found the point the soul leaves the body, does this soul wave then prove the possibility of some sort of afterlife?
I've never been a very religious man, so I'd say personally that I don't feel that it proves anything about an afterlife. My best friend Sarkar, however, may disagree, because according to his religion, we do continue living after death. This question brings up the very controversial issue of religion. When I went public with this information, there was obviously going to be some huge backlash, and religious issues and leaders were at the forefront of the protesters. You can show people all the information and just tell them how it is, but that does not mean they're going to believe it or are willing to even consider something they had not initially thought was possible.
Ambertos, what do you believe about the existence of a possible afterlife? Where's Ambertos?
We carpooled, I swear.
Does anybody know where Ambertos is?
Sorry, I figured we were doing this another time. What was the question?
Ambertos, what do you believe about the existence of a possible afterlife?
Well, I don't know what to think about an afterlife. I mean, why should I care? I'm never going to die. Does it really matter?
Finally, Mr. Carswell, what is your take on the soul wave and its connection to the possibility of an afterlife?
All that we can prove is that the soul wave exists and leaves the body at the point of death. What happens after that, we can only speculate. It is impossible for us to track the soul wave. Therefore, it is impossible for us to know what happens to it after death. People are free to decide for themselves what this means in terms of a possible afterlife, but scientifically we cannot say the soul wave existence proves anything about a possible afterlife.
If there was in fact an afterlife, what would that afterlife look like? Control, I would like to hear from you and Ambertos first.
It's going to be one big party with all your friends and family that you thought you would lost forever, and you don't have to worry about losing them again. But what do I know? Ambertos is the expert about afterlife.
Well, Ambertos, Control says you're the expert about the afterlife. What then is the afterlife?
Well, what's an afterlife anyway? When you die, you're dead. You're gone forever. Just a memory to those who knew you. Luckily, I don't have to worry about things like that.
Since we have been discussing the soul wave as being a person's soul, I should ask you if you even believe in the existence of a soul. Mr. Carswell, I will ask you.
I personally have a different view of what a soul is than the traditional view of a soul. I believe everything in the universe can at least think and feel either collectively or as individuals, including everything from humans to the smallest insects as to plants.
This next question is geared more towards the simulacra, but gentlemen, I invite any of your opinions. Control and Ambertos, would releasing the information about the soul wave offend you?
It would offend me because I'm your soul wave. I want to be released. The world needs my input. The real Peter Hobbs has let the social norms change his views way too much. Not everyone is going to be happy either way, so might as well share me with everyone. I'm capable of so much.
And Ambertos, would it offend you?
I don't know if it would offend me. I mean, it'd come out eventually. I'll worry about it some other time.
Mr. Carswell, do you have any thoughts or opinions about the subject?
I wouldn't be offended at all. If anything, I would welcome this extremely interesting scientific discovery. On the other hand, some other people might be offended by this because it may contradict or not agree with their specific religious beliefs. They will most likely become a bit upset about this news because it doesn't conform to their beliefs, their religious beliefs, or political beliefs. But overall, I believe most people will come to accept this information over time.
Dr. Hobson, what are your thoughts, and how do you believe other people may take this news?
So obviously it would not offend me. I'm the one releasing the information about the soul wave. However, I do feel this is highly likely to cause some issues with people and their beliefs. In general, people are never happy if you present something that contradicts their religious beliefs, or lack thereof. For example, some people may not believe that there is a soul, and by saying that this soul wave exists, they may protest and say that it cannot. This announcement is opening the door for so many arguments and controversies. However, I think it's important for people to know that it exists in case they have to make a decision about someone else's life. Because if we look on the EEG and the person still has their soul wave, then they are still alive and should be treated as though they are functioning human being. Only at the point when the soul wave leaves the EEG should we consider the person lifeless.
Dr. Hobson, the question on everyone's mind is your feelings about the death of Hans Larsen, your wife's lover. How do you feel about him being murdered?
I'm not an advocate for murder, so I'm pretty distraught about it. Did I hate him? Yes, I did. I won't deny that. However, I think everyone has the right to be alive, so I would never actually kill him. I think Control went too far, and he needs to have something done to show him that he acted in a way that was not good.
Well, I wanted him dead. There ain't no hiding that. He ruined my marriage. I'm happy that he's dead. I did not take it too far. He got what he deserved.
Control's right. But, I mean, he did ruin our marriage. But, I mean, why should I care?
Well, I can see there are some very different opinions from each of you. It's very interesting to hear the different views on the same matter from the same three people, essentially. However, these arguments are not why we are really here. Mr. Hobson, I still have some questions regarding the soul wave. Do you know when the soul wave enters the body? And if you do you have scientific studies to back up your claims?
According to research that Sarkar, my partner, and I conducted, we determined that the soul wave enters the body of a fetus in around 9 weeks.
How then does your evidence relate to the issue of abortion? And have you officially defined when an abortion is murder or not?
Yes, if a woman had an abortion during or after week 9, then I would say that yes, this is murder and this is wrong. However, I damn myself by saying this because people who are pro-life will argue that life starts before this, and people who are pro-choice will say that it starts at the first breath. So this information goes against everything that anyone believes in.
Control and Umbertos, what do you have to say about the religious implications?
Well, my wife had an abortion when she was already 9 weeks along. So that is murder right there, because the soul had entered the body. She waited too long. And the baby was already technically alive and a human being.
Control's right about the 9 weeks. But does it really matter? It was 13 years ago. You need to move on. After all, I mean, your time is limited here, so you better use it wisely.
Those are some very interesting ideas from the mind of Peter Hobson. So then, Mr. Hobson, do you believe, or do maybe others believe, that you broke any legal boundaries, but will need to consider the legality of your experiments in the future?
Yes, legal issues will definitely be an issue. Some legal issues that come into play deal with the processes I am using to test and gather my information. For example, should I legally be allowed to hook a person up to a machine that will tell when they died? Who knows? As long as they are aware of what's happening, then I don't think it matters. However, my opinions do not count as law, so I really don't get to have the final say in this. Another legal issue that comes into play is how do we know when the soul wave enters the body? Is it legal to test on a fetus inside a woman to determine if there is a soul wave present? Nobody that I'm aware of has done it, so as long as the woman and fetus are not put in jeopardy, I don't think it should be an issue.
I wonder if your simulacra feel the same way. Control?
I don't care if we are testing on growing, dead, or alive people. I want to do the testing to anyone and everyone, as many times as possible, because I want the most accurate results of the soul.
Again, a very interesting difference. Mr. Kurzweil, do you have any critiques or comments about Dr. Hobson's experimental methods, and do you believe if they were in fact legal or not?
I see no problem with testing on dying people as long as they are willing and able to consent to testing. If these people are of sound mind and are willing to necessitate scientific discoveries, it is their right to allow testing to be performed on their bodies. The same goes for pregnant women. As long as they are consenting and are informed and no harm comes to the fetus, I see no problem whatsoever with what Dr. Hobson is doing.
Thank you all for your interesting insight into this new way of life. I have just one final question for each of you. Dr. Hobson, I'll ask you first. Do you believe it was ethical to create your simulacra and to bring them on a national television show today?
When Sarkar and I started the creation of the process of the simulacra, I was really at a loss to see if it should be done. I think it was an ethical issue because it was my choice to do whatever I wanted to, but it became unethical when my creation started affecting other people. I thought that maybe I should not even create Control and Ambrodos, let alone bring them onto the show today.
Hey now, do you think we care if it's ethical? We want to be here, and it doesn't matter if other people think it's right or wrong.
Yeah, Control and I want to be here, so it doesn't matter whether it's ethical or not. I mean, not everyone's going to agree if something's ethical. Who's to say it is ethical? Why should they choose for us? It's our choice.
I can see you both have a passion for existing. Perhaps we should do another segment with just the two of you. Mr. Kurzweil, as a man of science and someone not directly involved with the simulacra and their creation, I'd also like your opinion on the ethics of the simulacra.
I believe that Peter Hobson was right to bring the simulacra to life. If we we as humans have the right to have many children as we want, what makes what Peter Hobson did any different? The Simulacra are exactly like Peter Hobson, just without physical bodies. They have the same curiosity and desire for knowledge that all humans have, just not the physical aspects as humans do.
Thank you. We've definitely heard some very interesting, controversial, and exciting announcements today. I have to say, this has been one of my most favorite segments, and I was glad that you wanted to announce your new creation on my show. I wish you all the best of luck and support with this new step in science. That's all the time we have for today, and thank you for tuning in to Dr. Phyllis.
Megan, should you scoot over so you're not, I think, wouldn't you be in her shot?
Are you like, you're not like.
I'm trying to like,
Are you recording it though?
no.
Yes, you are. I hate you. I almost snorted and I was like, don't do that because like she's taping. So.